It's Monday morning, so we got to go. Happy Monday, All-Star Week. Love the All-Star game. Can't wait for the All-Star game. But let's dive into this. Another Monday morning, another morning casual hang. Hope everybody had a good weekend. If you're not watching live in the morning, whatever time it is, thanks. Hit that like button, subscribe. I was reading through Warren Sharp last night, little Sunday evening. Some of Warren Sharp's 9,000 page football preview, and I peeked at his forecast for the 49ers. Not peeked at it, I read it. 10.5 wins. And it's he gives you reasons here. 3 reasons why he bets the over, 3 reasons why he bets the under. Last year he bet the over on 9.5 wins and was correct, right? So let's take you through this here, and I'll tell you why I like the over out of this number for one simple reason, and what his best argument for and against over 10.5 wins here was. Make it a little bigger. Not that you'll be able to read that, but you can check out the positional unit rankings there while we move along. I'm not going to read all that. Let's make it tight. Number 1, his reason to bet under 10.5 wins: negative 20-day rest net edge or net rest edge. I'll talk you through that very simply. But the Niners have less rest than their opponents on a net basis over the course of the season. They're minus 20 rest days before games versus their opponents. 2, he doesn't like their draft value, didn't like the Jake Moody pick. 3, Warren says last year, number 1 efficiency, but played easy offenses on defense. Number 1 defensive efficiency, good against the run, but now this year they're going to play Burrow, Dak, Lamar, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson. Okay. It left out Hurts, but and then reasons to bet the over. Here's 3 reasons. Number 1, still an easy schedule, he says. 5th easiest. His number 2 reason, Christian McCaffrey, just a simple existence. Niners lost the Chiefs game. They lost the Eagles game. They won 12 games in between with McCaffrey. And number 3, the best winning percentage against winning teams last year. They went 4-1 against teams with winning records. The only loss was the Chiefs, and they led the NFL with 11 wins by more than 1 score. So there's a quick recap of Warren's reasons. Give me 1 sec, because I'm going to throw the schedule up here. This is the official ham schedule. This is the one I work off of. It's got a lot more detail than most schedules you can get, and so I like it for that reason. And it just it helps us kind of work through everything. Red is home, blue is road. We've got the net rest situation. Let's just address that first. Even though I don't think net rest is the most compelling reason against 10.5 wins. I think the most compelling reason against 10.5 wins is his number 3 reason, which is questioning whether or not the pass defense can hold up against some of the quarterbacks that they play. Not mentioning in his list there Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford. Obviously, we know what the Niners have done with the Rams. Not mentioning Kirk Cousins. We don't think the Vikings are going to be as good this year, but dirty conspiracy theory would be letting Kirk light you up so that you can sign him next year. And as I said, didn't count the Eagles. He didn't mention the Eagles in that stretch. So I'm with that. I mean, this has been an ongoing thing for the 49ers. They've been no team is perfect. Pass defense has been a question mark for them. So, I think that's the most compelling reason. His negative 20-day net rest edge, I don't think is as compelling. We've gone through this. We did a video on this when the schedule came out. They play 4 teams off buys. One of those 4 teams, Jacksonville, the Niners, as you can see here, that gray is their bye. The Niners are also coming off a bye. So they play 3 other teams. Cleveland in week 6, here at the top of the schedule. Cincinnati in week 8. And the Cardinals at Arizona week 15. They play 3 teams off buys where the Niners are not coming off a bye. That's not nothing, but I don't think it's the most compelling. They have a couple games where they have plus rest. They're +3, the Niners are rest when they play the Eagles. And they're +3 in the first Cardinal game because the Niners are coming off Thursday Night Football against the Giants. So they've got some benefits there too. So look, I, I think one simple way to break this number down, because I do think it's a good number. I do think, given the quarterback situation, it's a good number. But 10 wins, as bad as I think that would feel, because it's 7 losses, given that you just won 13 last year, you got one of the highest payrolls in the league, one of the best coaches in the league, one of the most talented rosters. We could talk about it another time, but Warren has them as the second most talented roster in the league. They went 6-0 against the division last year. So I think it's still good, but let's be a little conservative and say, I don't think it's a little conservative. Some would say it's a little conservative, but I'm going to say, let's say for the purpose of deciding whether we go over or under here, let's say they go 4-2 in the division. Okay. You lose one of the Rams games, maybe. You lose one of the Seahawks games, maybe. God forbid you lose one of the Cardinals games. But let's just say somehow you go 4-2, which is not as good as last year, obviously, but it's better than what they'd been. I mean, they were 2-4 the year before in the division, 3-3 the year before that in the division. So let's just say 4-2. That means in your other 11 non-divisional games, 6-5 gets you to 10. Well, I think they're going to be better than 6-5 in those other 11. So that's why, even if it's 7-4, right? Which is good. That's good. That plus 4-2, that's 11 wins. That's good. Last year they won 13, so it still feel like a step back from last year. 10 win. Here's the other thing about 10, as an aside. 10 is probably the 3 seed in the NFC this year because of the NFC South. So even 10 wins, which would feel like an underperformance from this roster, depending on how things play out with the quarterback, even that would feel, I think, like it'd be a letdown. But you still probably end up as the 3 seed. Now, there is a difference between being a Super Bowl participant and an NFC Championship participant. Being in the NFC Championship game is a long way from actually winning the Super Bowl when you consider, how stacked the AFC is. And who knows, maybe it'll be Cincinnati in the Super Bowl out of the AFC this year. But you still want to have home field as long as possible in the NFC. So, 11, does 11 get you the 2 seed is what I'm getting at? Probably, unless let's say you lose to Dallas, you lose to Philly wins 13 games again, Dallas wins 11, 12. I guess it doesn't really matter, actually, because they got to be seated below you. So that's, Dallas is in a tough spot. Dallas is going to be the 5 seed no matter what, even if they win 13 games, if Philly wins 14. So actually that doesn't matter. The NFC North, is that going to be won by a 13-win team again? No. So, 11 might get you the 2 seed. You'd feel better about 12 getting you the 2 seed. But that's the question is over 10.5 a good number? And I say yes, because of what we just went through. Now we can get into this, right? I said some would say 4 wins is conservative in the NFC West. And I'm guessing that's where this would come from. Why would we split with the Rams? Did they get much better from last year? They were so bad last year. That it's not that I'm picking the Rams game or the Seahawks game. I'm simply saying, let's be a little conservative here if we're going to bet the over, if you want to consider that conservative. They've got a very good coach. They've been a very good team. So let's just say, for the sake of trying to make the argument, I think anytime you try to make a projection, you try to predict some things that you don't think should happen or will happen happening. So that's how I end up there with the Rams. Kurt says picking the under would be picking for injury or to lose every toss-up game. Well, yeah, the quarterback situation's weird. Picking the under wouldn't necessarily just be picking for injury. It might be picking for some Brock regression. But, as we talked about last week, there is a very high level of floor for Kyle Shanahan quarterbacks that have done much less than Brock has done. So a little less regression there. A little regression there, you might still be okay. So maybe that's where Kurt's point comes in about injury, losing every toss-up game. I mean, what are the toss-up games? Is at Steelers a toss-up game? Let's just say it's not. But let's say Cowboys is a toss-up game. Let's say Bengals is a toss-up game. At Eagles is a toss-up game. Ravens is a toss-up game. So there's 4. That's conservatively 4. We could also call the Browns. Did I say at Browns a toss-up game? I think you could end up with like 6 or 7 real toss-up games. Let's do not conservative. Let's do very let's say Giants toss-up, Cowboys toss-up, Browns toss-up, Vikings toss-up, Bengals toss-up, Jags toss-up. I don't think these are all toss-ups, but we're just saying Eagles toss-up, Ravens toss-up. What was that, 8? I think that was 8. And then you throw in a couple divisional games because they're divisional games. 9, 10. But I think realistically we're talking, 5 to 7 toss-up games. So, yeah, I mean, Kurt, by that point, you lose all the toss-up games. Then you're a 10-win team. And that's fine. 15-2 with Purdy. That would be the 1 seed. What was the last? Who was the last 15? Did somebody win 15 2 years ago? Who's the last 15-win team? I'm looking here real quick. Been a while. Well, I guess nobody's done it in the 17-game era. So was it? It was Carolina in 2015 is your last 15 win. How about yeah, I mean, we had 2 14-3 or 2 14-3 teams last year. And they were the best teams. So Jeep says, I don't know why people think it's an easy schedule. NFC North is by far the best division on both sides of the ball. The NFC North is by far the best division on both sides of the ball. I think like many, expect Minnesota to take a step back. Still not going to be great on defense and will be worse on offense. I think Green Bay is going to be okay on offense. Carolina, okay, you'd argue good on defense. They won 7 games by being weird on offense. Maybe they'll be better on offense this year. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the NFC South. NFC North. Detroit, yeah, people love Detroit. And I guess the Bears beat you last year. Yeah, I don't know. I think you can beat Kirk Cousins. I think you're not playing Detroit, but you're beating Goff. So maybe I'm not understanding the point here. The NFC North is by far the best division on both sides of the ball. Okay. They only play 2 of those teams. Right? What am I missing there? AFC North? Did you mean to say AFC North? Maybe. Cincinnati? Baltimore? Pittsburgh? Probably. Okay. Now it makes sense. Yeah, that's a tough division. Who are they losing those 2 games to? Great question. Vikings and Jags on the road will be tough. Agree. I mean, they'll not look. They always play some weird. I think Steelers week 1 is going to be. We'll see. Now they do blow teams out. Cincy at home. Yep. I do think we'll see blowouts again because they'll run the ball again. No way we split with the Rams. Maybe the Seahawks. All right. So you want to call it 5-1? Call it 5-1. I'm not going to call it 5-1, but this is true. All 3 divisional teams don't match up well with us. None of them have fixed the run defense, nor do they have anyone to bolster the middle of their defenses. It's fair. I'm just being conservative when we start making predictions like that because weird things happen in the division all the time. Yeah, AFC North. Got it. AFC North. Yeah, AFC North is tough. Who has the most, finding the foot says, who has the most catches this season between the big 4? McCaffrey, Kittle, Debo, Ayuk. Ayuk might be the dark horse. Okay. Well, where'd the number end up last year for McCaffrey? Let's just do a little math on the fly is always risky, but let's do a little quick math. Christian ended up with 38 catches in 11 games. 38 divided by 11 is, no, that's not right. Sorry, that's just long. He ended up with 52 catches in 11 games. 4.7 times 17 is 80 catches. 80. 80 catches last year would have led the 49ers in catches. So, I mean, he was healthy with the Niners. I'll go McCaffrey. I'll pick McCaffrey in that list. Brandon had 78 in 17 games. Kittle had 60 in 15 games. Might need Kittle to protect. Might need Kittle to protect a little bit this year. So I'm going to go McCaffrey. That's a good question. That could be a video. All right. Gotta roll. I should have started this one a little earlier. Gotta get on with the day. If you're watching this live, have a great day. If you're not watching live, hope you had a great day, great night, whatever. I gotta get this coffee. It's getting cold. Hit that like button, subscribe. These are just casual ham solos, as we've been calling them. Did see Middlecoff. I was a little jealous. He went to Firestone Grill. I saw a picture yesterday, which is incredible tri-tip. I haven't had a good tri-tip in a long time. That's in San Luis Obispo. I was jealous of that. But maybe I'll find some tri-tip this week. All right, everybody. Have a great week. Have a great day. Probably be back at it Tuesday. Got a lot of meat still on that bone. A lot of stuff to talk about. So thanks for hanging. Later.